Good morning. It's Jessica. I'm here with another episode of 10-Minute Morning Mindset. And this week we're really focusing on mindset strategies, mindset for entrepreneurship. And if you caught my live yesterday, it's not super different from our mindset for our life in general. So even if you're not an entrepreneur, you'll get a lot out of this. And if you are, we're going to just dive in and go deep. And yesterday we talked just high level, what is the difference? And really got to how we show up in our business, or what's stopping us in our business is really the same thing that can be stopping us right across the board in our life. So today, I really want to talk about a strategy because I love, what did my friend say to me yesterday? I love high level concepts. I love thinking about things, and what are we doing so that the rubber meets the road? So we're integrating these tips into our life and creating something new with them. So the kind of challenge I invited you into yesterday was to think about what is the number one thing you see stopping yourself in your business. That's definitely the example we're going to be using for the week. If you missed it, again, just think about your business, get really quiet, grounded, centered, and ask, what is, if I could narrow it down, one thing. And by one thing, I'll invite you to dig deeper too, because you could say it's not making the money that I want, and go deeper. Get a little underneath of, what's stopping you from making the money that you desire. It's client outreach, talking to clients. Great. What's stopping you from doing that? What's getting in the way? And until you really come down to a way of being, a feeling, emotion that you notice you're feeling, or what's stopping you. And that's really what's getting in the way. Because what's getting in the way of being successful isn't not making enough money. It is, but it isn't. It isn't because you're not attracting enough clients. It's around a way of being and your mindset behind it. So thinking about that today, and the other concept I want to play around with today is, I need a better word for this, but I'm just going to call it excuses. It's really the most relatable. It can be triggering. And it is an excuse because I promise it's possible. So let's just say, I'll actually give an example. I worked corporate for 20 years, full time. I used to commute to work an hour on each side, and 8.5 to 9 hours a day. So I would be away from home anywhere between 10 and 11 hours during the week. And I was working on my business on the side with 3 kids and a house and all of the things. And so I used to just fit my business in whenever I could. And I remember I would listen to coaches or Facebook Lives or books, and people would be like, we all have the same 24 hours in a day. And I fucking hated it. That still triggers me. I've got work to do on that one because I still needed the job at the time. I didn't have the courage to take the leap yet. I didn't have the things in place I wanted to before I took the leap. So I said, no, we don't technically have the same 24 hours in a day. So what I did with that saying was, it's not about the 24 hours in a day, it's how you use it. So instead of focusing on 24 hours, I would say, what do I have? And that's the strategy for today. Instead of saying, but we don't have the same 24 hours in a day, and I can't do my business the same the way you do your business, and I don't have the time, and I don't have the resources, and I don't have the support. Pausing, breathing, and saying, okay, great. Now I know everything that's in the way. or everything that I perceive to be in the way. And just as an aside too, this is for any goal setting. I'm just definitely using the example of entrepreneurship and business with this. So the task for today, the strategy is 1, notice when we're on the slippery slope of lack, can't, not enough, whatever, and limits and excuses ultimately. And when we're sitting in those places, ground yourself, notice it, take a breath and be like literally breathe. Okay, how can I create the time? How can I create the resources? What if I had support? What would that look like? How can I find a new strategy? Can I find accountability? How can I create a schedule for myself that feels really good, that I create, not because someone said this is what I'm supposed to do? So as far as, I was just about to say this could be like really beginner mindset stuff, but it's not. I take it back completely, because sometimes I can notice myself too going, I don't know how I'm going to do that. Okay, great. Because our old patterns are going to resurface. They've been with us, like I've said before, for me, 40 years. And they're not just going to change overnight. They're not just going to change with focus. Even over the past, 6 to 9 years, I've been really focused on shifting mindset. So I catch myself. That's the key. Catch yourself where you're at. Notice the limiting belief you're creating. Notice the story, the excuse, the reasons, all the reasons why you can't, all the reasons why you don't have what you want, all the reasons why it's not working, and get under what's in the way. Keep asking, how's that stopping me? How's it stopping me? And get underneath of it. And then you can at least start to create some shift and focus around it. Then, once you've noticed it, once you've taken a breath, you've identified what the belief or the limit is, then just ask, how can I? How is this possible? How can I create it? How can I even just be in a question of it? Which is really powerful, because if you're anything like me, I don't like to be in the question. I like answers. I like solutions. I like to know. I hate not knowing. It's a real edge for me, a real discomfort. And sometimes when I don't know, instead of going, I don't know, which I shared last week, I think that's definitely my go-to. And when I'm in my, I don't know, it's, okay, what if I did know? How can I be in the question of what's possible? And just be in that space. And every time I don't know or my limits come up, breathe into them and just say, okay, I'm in the question. I'm figuring it out. I'm open to finding out. And how do I say this? This really feels not tangible. I acknowledge that. And it's really about notice. And if you're noticing your thoughts, you're noticing your excuses, you're noticing what is your stopping point, that's where it gets good. I always think if I'm working with a client and everything's going well, I'm like, we're not getting out of comfort zones, because we're staying stuck in something that's working too well, that we're not creating any friction and we're not creating the stretch. We're not pulling on that rubber band out of the comfort zone into something new. And when we're out of our comfort zone, that's when our thoughts get stretched. That's when we bump up against any limits we have. And that's when the world work happens. That's when you get to go, oh, I'm here. I'm uncomfortable. Yes. What's available for me here? How can I create something new in this place? Not repeat old habits, not repeat old patterns, not stay stuck, not revert back, but go, what is something new I can create in this space? So that's a strategy for today. How can I? What if I knew? How do I stay in this space? and really, really, really inviting you into getting, if you haven't figured out what's really stopping you, that's the work, getting underneath of it. Because if it's stopping in your business, it's stopping you all over the place. And once you can start to really see it, it's going to be super helpful to start to create solutions for it. So that's what I got for you today. Really shifting our mindset. It's totally possible. And I am sending you lots of love today and hope that you're having a great Tuesday. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.